I keep coming back to the term cycle breaker. And I watched a video the other day of a young woman who said something that really kind of mended my spirit. She was talking about a book she was reading, and I can't forget. I can't remember the name of the book, so I'll probably write it in the comments or put it in the tags here. But talking about having a mother wound, right? I will say that both my mother and my father have done a doozy on the life in which I grew up in, right? And so she talked about how did she break the cycle in her video for her daughter and having a conversation with her mother, who was a straight hustler. And she said she never felt like she was missing anything. She never felt like she was without anything, because her mom just did everything in her power to make sure that she was going after everything that was needed in order to cover for her and her brothers. It was a woman speaking about it. But now that she is a mother, she's looking at her daughter and trying to figure out how does she break that same cycle of the baby daddy syndrome, of the ex-boyfriend, of the co-parenting, of the picking the wrong guy, of all the things that feel like these they're part of our our villain origin story, right? And what I appreciated her saying is how she was forgiving of her mother, and forgiving of her mother for doing the best that she could with the resources she had. And I think that's something that I'm feeling a little bit verklempt about, because as I'm going through this college journey with my daughter, and as I am getting her through high school, and got her through high school and getting her now into college, I find myself consistently hearing from my mother, I am sorry. And I keep having to ask her, like, what are you sorry for? Everything's okay. Well, I'm sorry I didn't do that for you. I'm sorry you didn't have a graduation party. I'm sorry you didn't have a trunk party. I'm sorry we didn't have a prom send-off. I'm sorry you didn't have birthday parties. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I know that she is watching the work that I am putting in the seeds that I'm putting into the ground, and she is feeling convicted and conflicted. I am not saying anything to her to make her feel that way. My mom, again, was this corporate woman who worked really hard in the 80s, had a corporate job in a time where there was very few Black women in corporate America, working in office spaces as oftentimes the only Black woman. And by the time that I got to high school, my mother had, fallen really ill, and that totally tragically changed our lives in a way that was totally different, right? We went from having vacations and doing all the things and going places to not being able to really do anything except scrap and survive. And in middle school, or not in middle school, in high school, I moved to live with my father, who had all these resources, but didn't have any relationship with me. And so I oftentimes have to, who still doesn't have a relationship with me. I'm trying to work my way through that, right? I'm trying to work my way through the muck and the mire, and every single year I have had to reparent myself. Every year I have had to forgive myself, and every year I've had to take on the chin. They did the best they could with the information they had. They did what they could with what they had. They did what they knew was best. I'm trying to be forgiving, and I know that I have forgiven my mom in a lot of ways and healed in a lot of ways, that I know I need my daughter to still be able to see, because I'm still the one who is standing here trying to gird her loins, being sometimes browbeaten by the cycles that are still out there. Hope that helps.